And we are live. So today, what I want to do is start by introducing myself. My name is Chris McDonald. I live in North Carolina. I'm just a little bit north of Charlotte. And I also once was with an MLM. I decided to leave that MLM, and then I decided to go ahead and go with social media. Social media is something that I absolutely love doing. I love helping small business owners, and I love helping them to learn how to use different platforms, how to be able to go ahead and get the most out of their social media accounts. So what I'm going to do from here is go ahead and open this up and let you see my slide share. Share the screen. And there we go. So this is going to be the second time that we get together to talk about Twitter. In the last class, we went ahead and talked about what an impression is, which is what Twitter counts, whereas Facebook is totally different. But an impression with Twitter is going to be something that's retweeted, a favorite, a reply. Those are all things that are going to be what Twitter looks for to analyze your account. We went over the anatomy of a tweet, what it looks like. We went over profiles, and I showed you some examples of good ones and bad ones. We covered branding very quickly. I showed you some cover photos. I already said that. I'm sorry. Twitter is asymmetrical, which means that you can follow someone and then see their tweet, their news feed. Not their news feed, I'm sorry, what it is that they tweet. It's not necessary for that person to follow you back like it is in Facebook. You're just able to see that information. I talked about how that's advantageous to you because then you can see what the leaders in your particular niche are doing. I gave you a handout on colors and fonts and on the ideal customer. And I also talked about how to find leaders. For example, if you're an author, you're going to want to go in and try and see what John Grisham or James Patterson are doing and see what's making them a success, or maybe some other author that is even more closely tied to the niche that you're trying to be in. I also showed you some quick ways to find some keywords. Now for today, we're going to talk again about content, get down to the nitty-gritty a little bit, talk about click to tweet, and how often you should be tweeting. The content we're going to go over is going to be very basic and very general. If you're thinking or hoping that we're going to be going over something that is going to tell you exactly what it is that you need to be posting, I can't do that for you. It's going to be based on what it is that your customer wants to see. I can tell you what it is that I'm doing, but that's not going to help you unless you're in the exact same niche. Remember, a measurement of your success is not going to be how many people are following you or how many likes or retweets you get. Well, the retweets, that matters, but what you want to see is engagement. What's going on in that engagement? Are people responding to you? Are they tweeting back, and are you answering them? Those are the kinds of things that are important. You need to think about your audience. What's going to help them? What kind of a solution are you offering them? Remember that content marketing is a commitment. It's not a campaign. A campaign might be something that you start up and you see some success and that's about it. You have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not going to appear to be serious about your business. And that's the last thing that you want. I often tell people if they start an account and they don't follow up on it, it's better to go ahead and go in and completely close that account out. A lot of people are afraid of giving away the good stuff. There's a predominant attitude that if we give them our great stuff, they're not going to come back. And so we just give them our good stuff. But that's not really the truth. What really happens is giving your great stuff and giving away things to your viewers or to your fans or your followers sets you apart from the other people. The customer needs a solution. They see it on your site or your blog or your Twitter. You solve that problem for them. Now they know that they can like and trust you. They talk about you, and then they're going to recommend you to their friends, and their friends are going to come. Those are the kinds of things that you're going to want. Once that person knows, likes, and trusts you, they're going to be your best advertisement. If you make a plan, it's so much easier to know what it is that you want to post and when you want to post it and how you want to post it. So what you want to do is try and build a system that's going to work for you. You need to test what's going to work and what works at what times. You're only able to use 140 characters whenever you're tweeting something. But what you want to do in all reality is only use about 120. It'll show that you still have characters left. But the reason that you want to do that is because when the retweet comes up, my handle is going to be in there as well. So you want to make it easier for others to retweet. What will happen is they'll try to retweet something and it's going to say that it's too long. So then they have to go in and look at your content and try and edit it. And that'll just tell them they don't want to retweet stuff from you. People want everything to be fast, quick, and easy. Whenever we went over the anatomy of a tweet, again, here's where you're going to retweet something, and you see there's the person's handle. Whenever I retweeted something, here's an example. Chris McDonald retweeted, as you can see. So I retweeted something from Inc. And what it has is say these 10 things to look super smart in any business situation. So I thought that after reading the article, I thought that that was something that I wanted to share with my followers. So I went ahead and retweeted it. I also did it for the purpose of this training. Have a graphic here for you. Hopefully this will help make things a little bit easier. Now, those of you that attended the Facebook training and those of you that have heard me talk before, you know how important it is to me that you go ahead and be using your colors, your branding colors. Let me take you to my Facebook page. And you'll see here my colors, which is something that I've done exactly here. So if you looked at this, I don't have anything that says Chris McDonald NC at the bottom, but you would automatically know that this is something that I am putting out and doing. So that's just to make things a little bit easier for you. So what you want to do is you can put out things like company news, things that are new with your MLM, you can go ahead and do that. Anything that's new with your product, motivational tips, things that are going on with you personally, any type of promotions that you're having, you can put that in there, humor, and then actual tips. You want to build everything around that ideal customer. Test things at different times and see how they're working. Humor might not work for your ideal customer at 3. Maybe they're still at their workplace, but it's a major success at 7 because they're home and dinner's finished and they're sitting down. So they see that tweet in the newsfeed with some humor in their newsfeed with it has some humor in it. So they go ahead and they respond to that and they reshare. Business news, for example, may not work at 7. Maybe your ideal customer comes home from work and they don't want to read about anything pertaining to any kind of business, but it works at 3 o'clock when they're still at work and they're able to have access to Twitter and Facebook or even on their break. The key to success is going to be to test and test some more. That is definitely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the main thing that you want to be able to do. Personally, for me, my organic reach is not where I want it to be with Facebook. So that's something that I'm working on. Of course, even though I may be meeting what everybody else is receiving, I want better. Now, Twitter, I ran an analysis on my account and it gave me a 99 and said to just keep doing exactly what I'm doing. Do you think that I rested at that? No, I'm going to keep trying and keep testing and find out more and better things that are going to work with my people. You may go in and look at someone that's actually in your niche. Let's say it's an author. You go in and you look at someone else that's in your niche, you see what they're doing, and you copy it and do the exact same thing for yourself. The problem, if you don't get those kind of responses that you were hoping for, may be that your ideal customer isn't the same ideal customer as that author. You can be in the same niche and still not have the exact same ideal customer. Remember, when you're dealing with millions and billions of people, you want to narrow that down. But how each person narrows that down is going to be all the difference in the world. Your exact ideas may not work for you. It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of testing. This is definitely not a one-size-fits-all. I can't tell you how to do it for your ideal customer. No one can do that for you. That's something that you're going to have to test and experiment with. Your content needs to be comfortable for you. It needs to be as handy to you as a pocket on your shirt. You want to be able to know your audience, know where their pain points are, and what content marketing is all about so that you can reach out and touch them. And never be afraid to be you. Don't hesitate about being honest. That's something that you definitely want to do. If you don't know the answer, tell them. Then go back and find out and retweet and then tweet back to them and let them know that answer. You can't compare your business to others. This is something that I saw on Facebook with Kim Garst. Everyone brings something unique and beautiful to their business. So you need to look and see what's unique about yours. I said before, you really want to stand out and be different. You don't want to be the same as everybody else. So keep that in mind as you're building what it is that you want for that Twitter account. Now, engagement research shows that engagement on photos that are retweeted show an increase of 5 to 10%. I am going to say people absolutely love motivational quotes. They love seeing stuff that has some humor to it. But if you have those photos, that retweet is going to be higher and the engagement is going to be higher. You can also go in and look at blogs to get some content that you might want to do. You might have a blogger that's really touching on your particular niche. You can search for those in Google. There are definitely blogs that I read on a regular basis, and I will go ahead and take some of that information and use it for tweets or for content marketing in my Facebook. So look for those blogs also that have incorporated the click to tweet. Personally, to help out a new or small business owner, I try to make sure that my blogs have at least 20 click to tweets. The reason that I do that is to make things easy for them. So you might want to go ahead. My blogs are usually released on Tuesday. So that's something that you might want to look at. So if you are having a hard time thinking of what it is that you want to come up with content, read the blog, pick the click to tweets that you like and go ahead and tweet them out. In the Facebook training, I talked about knowing who your ideal customer is and giving them what it is that they want to see. Knowing who your ideal customer is will factor into every area of what you're doing. If you haven't received or worked on that worksheet yet, please take the time to do so. It'll make all the difference in the world whenever you are trying to go ahead and market or put out content for these particular people. For example, this is an oversimplified one. If you're a fitness or weight loss instructor, you would not under any condition show a photo of a decadent dessert that you're about to eat for your anniversary. You may know that it's okay to do that, but you certainly don't want to be tempting your ideal customer who's struggling to lose the baby weight. So why use click to tweet? I use it to help people that are new to Twitter. So that's really my main reason for going with it. It helps drive people from the blog to the blog from Twitter. So whenever I do a click to tweet, I'll go ahead, as I'm creating it, I'll go ahead and put in there a new blog, and then I'll give a shortened version of that tweet. It's a simple click the button, and it shows that you're sending that as a tweet. I went ahead and did one. This is from my blog last week, and you can see Facebook is the largest platform out there. Click to tweet. Facebook has massive amounts of information that we have access to. Facebook is constantly updating and tweaking their system. Facebook is already mobile optimized, and over 70% of Facebook users are on mobile devices. So all that you would do is you would choose something that you wanted to use, then you would click it. What happens is it looks like this. Now, for some reason, whenever I made the copy, it made this show up as gray. What's going to happen is it's actually going to show up as blue. I added a hashtag in mine so that it was already there for you. And I have Facebook is constantly updating and tweaking their system. New blog. And then I have my hashtag that I always use, which is Be the Best You. Then all you do is click that tweet button. This is how it looked in my feed. There is my handle. There's my name. Facebook is constantly updating and tweaking their system. New blog. And that's hard to see, but it has the shortened URL to get to my blog. And then I have my hashtag Be the Best You. So you see, that was me tweeting it myself, but it's still put in my handle. How often? That's an extremely difficult question to try and answer because only you can answer it. When is your customer looking at the news feed? Remember, Twitter is very noisy and very fast-paced. You can see a tweet, go back 3 minutes later, try and find it, and have the most difficult time unless you go into that person's unless you go into that person's homepage, because Twitter is just so fast-moving. Kim Garst shares every 83 minutes, and Jeff Bullis, who is an extremely great blogger, he tweets every 15 minutes. So you see the difference between two different leaders in this industry, where one is doing it 83 minutes, another one is doing it every 15. I decided to go with every hour. That's something that I started with. I do it at different times. I start at different times and end at different times. What I try and do is I make it a point of following and seeing if any of those times are different. I go in and analyze and look and make sure that people were all seeing it. If I was tweeting something at 1 o'clock in the morning and the people weren't seeing it, then there's no reason for me to take the time to do that. So that's just kind of how I work it out. What should you do? Get in there and see what works for you. You could start 3 or 4 times a day, or you can do it more often, such as every hour, and see what's going to work best for you. Seeing what works is going to definitely, by far, be the best thing. If you only want to start with a few a day, start between 11 and 2. But if you think that your ideal customer isn't going to be on Twitter at that time, then post at the times that you believe your ideal customer is going to be on there. Remember that people forget what they've seen, so you can reuse content. I do that on a regular basis. You can use information from a blog, and I do that. A lot of times whenever I'm sharing that information from another person's blog, I will go ahead and say @ and use their Twitter handle. Another thing that you can do is share the information from your blog itself. You can go in and share information from old blogs if you're writing a blog. And I won't discuss whether or not you should be having a blog. Time and content. I have a list of quotes that I've reused many times. I have over 2,000 quotes that I use. What I like to do is I post in the morning, and then I skip a day, and then the next day I post that exact same quote in the evening. So let's say I post something at 10 o'clock in the morning, then I go in and on Monday, I skip Tuesday, then I go in and post that exact same thing on Wednesday night at 10 o'clock. And then I go ahead and the next time that I start scheduling my posts, I'll start on Tuesday and do Tuesday and Thursdays, so that every other day that same information is going out at different times, once in the morning, once at night. So how are you going to find the time to do all of this? Well, it can be automated. There is costs that go all the way from free to $30 a month. and we can go into the information about the different platforms that allow you, the different sites, business sites that allow you to go ahead and schedule that if you would like. Leave me a note at the bottom. Let me know if that's something that you're interested in. Personally, I'm using a combination. I've started putting the photos that I like into a Buffer account. Buffer has come out with the addition to what they offer, and you can put your photos into your Buffer account and then edit them directly from that Buffer account. I just thought that was such a great idea instead of downloading all of my photos into my onto my computer. So that's something that you can look at. But personally, I like to use Hootsuite. Remember that the key, engagement is still more important than anything else. Pushing your product. A great example that I heard from Michelle Grigsby was trying to sell a product on your very first content is like trying to kiss a total stranger. And while the thought of that is like totally gross, there's truth in that. How can a person just push the sale without it even knowing me or if their product works for me? They're doing that based on their decision or on their wanting to get more people to buy from them or be a part of their group. At the same time, you don't want to forget that there's a basic rule. 80% of what you put out, you want to go ahead and make sure that it involves the other things that I showed you in that graphic. 80% of your tweets needs to be information or even slight entertainment, like the humor and the motivation. 80% of that needs to be for your ideal customer. Only 20% should be about your products and your services. Now, we were going to go over Twitter etiquette today as well. That was my original plan. But as I started working on that, I realized that I was going to have way too much information and I was going to go over the time. And that isn't something that I wanted to do. So I'll definitely be talking about Twitter etiquette next week. And I'm really not sure what else we're going to be doing. Your handout for this week is going to be a photo image resource guide. I went in and I have a list of all different kinds of image resources and went in and looked at them and decided what they were good for, told you why I liked them and why I didn't like them. I didn't give you the URLs for those because all I did was put in the names of them in Google, and that worked just fine for me. But you can go ahead and take a look at that. Hopefully that'll be something that you'll be able to use and will help you. I did turn it into a PDF. It is very large because I included some of the pictures or at least one picture from every site. One particular site I included two because I couldn't figure out which one I wanted. So go ahead and make sure that you get that. Let me see if I have any questions. And I am not seeing any questions. So what we're going to do is close this out. Please make sure that you go ahead and get that handout. I would hate to see you miss out on that. Like I said, there's a lot of resources that went into that. So go ahead and enjoy that. And there's also a link included on how to get that handout on the ideal customer. Have a really blessed day. If you're watching this as a replay, please go ahead and put any comments that you might have or any questions. I do check that, and I'll be glad to get back with you. Have a really blessed day. Bye for now. Well, bye for now, really. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.